Sleepers Podcast, Thursday, December 14th. Carter is coming to you live from, I don't know, are you at the North Pole? Where are you?
Oh, this is Santa's study.
Santa Studies?
Santa's study, like he has a study room, like a library.
Yeah,
what
he studies in the study room?
No, this is where he reads, he does his literature, he makes his lists. Like
So-
this is the study.
Why is it called the study if he doesn't study?
There's people have rooms in their house all the time called the study that they don't study there.
Do you have a study?
In my house?
What is this, 1940? Who has a study?
My parents have a study.
Well,
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
granted. Yeah, granted.
they've got a nice, of course they haven't. I've seen the golf course. Like Luther probably has 2 studies. Luther probably has a secret bookshelf. Like he has one of those bookshelves that like turns into a secret liquor cabinet or something.
See, that is the one thing I'm very proud of that my father handed down to me is that reading is overrated.
Oh, nice. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Like, why are you wasting time reading? Go out there and get some money.
Yeah. Yeah. There's certainly no chance that you're just in your basement sitting in front of a flat screen TV that's playing a YouTube video of a room, right?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. All right. You just decided to put your ring light behind you instead of in front of you today?
There's a ring light?
Interesting. All right. It should be a fun show today. We have a bunch of previews, for the weekend's games. There's a huge slate on Saturday. We have some big games on Sunday as well. We're going to start rolling out previews for all the big games starting today. Those will come out on the channel Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so stay tuned for those. Go watch those. That definitely helps us. The more numbers we can do on YouTube, the better. So go get active in the comments. Throw us a like, click subscribe if you haven't yet. All of that. Cart, let's start with our YouTube comment of the day.
Let's see here. We are going to go. This one is from AZ Gaming. Arizona is top 5 in adjusted offense, adjusted defense, and adjusted defense in KenPom. The conditioning required to be top 5 in those is substantial. That's why I think we see teams hang with Arizona for 10 to 15 minutes, and then Arizona runs away with it. They just overpower it. We are not invincible, but we are certainly a great team. I think that was fitting given the games that are coming up this weekend. Is Purdue a team that can hang with a team that is top 5 in all the major fun categories that you look at on KenPom?
Yes.
They can. Is it because Purdue is in those categories as well?
It's because Purdue can hang with anybody. They have the best player in the country. And when you play, the thing with Purdue, Cart, when you play Purdue, you play Purdue's game. You don't play your game against Purdue. Alabama tried to play their game, and they did play their game. You know what ended up happening? Purdue's game was more dominant than Alabama's game. So it turned into Purdue's foul fast to the free throw line game. And I get, this isn't the Aaron Torres dialogue. This is just like, they're too good at their game to not play their game. You have to be able to beat Purdue. I know Fairleigh Dickinson did it a different way, but like you have to beat Purdue playing their game and daring them to shoot a little bit. And this year's team isn't afraid to shoot. So they're going to hang in every game. There's not a game where Purdue's going to be blown out this season.
Okay. I mean, no, like he said about Arizona, no team's invincible. Either is Purdue. I don't think Purdue is invincible to getting beat by 10 plus points.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, I disagree.
You want to bet that there won't be a game this season Purdue loses by more than 10 points?
Yeah, I actually will take that bet.
Pancake bet round 2.
How's that work?
So if Purdue, for those that don't know, we had a pancake bet 2 years ago in the Final Four, the COVID year, where it was Gonzaga against UCLA, and Cart had bet that Gonzaga was going to beat UCLA by like a ton. And so we said for every point that Gonzaga didn't beat UCLA by from a certain number, Cart had to eat 5 pancakes. Mm-hmm. And it resulted in what? Was it 40 something pancakes?
They only won by 7, so I had to eat 35 pancakes.
It's just crazy, by the way. But yeah. So Carter, this was before anybody paid attention to us. I think we had like 20 people watching us or something. Hilarious. Arguably the funniest moment in Sleepers history. Carter live streams himself eating 35 Kodiak cakes for about 3 hours. For the next 3 days, I really didn't hear from you. I was pretty concerned. I'd like to do this again. So I think the number's 10. 10 points is how much Purdue can lose by. If Purdue loses by 10, it's a push and neither of us have to do anything.
Yeah.
If Purdue loses a game by more than 10, it goes off their first loss. If Purdue loses a game by more than 10, I will eat 5 pancakes for every point that they lose by that is more than 10. If Purdue, let's say if Purdue finishes the season and they have not lost a game by more than 10, you have to eat 5 pancakes for every point under 10 that their worst loss is by.
Okay. Or we could do I'll eat a pancake for every win they have.
I like that. That's fine. Yeah.
Wait, I thought I was finessing you. What would be less?
No,
God,
either way, you're going to end up around 30, I think.
Eesh. All right. Deal.
Okay. So that's officially a pancake.
So every point over 10, 5 pancakes.
From their first loss. This doesn't happen every loss. Like if Purdue loses to Arizona by 11, I have to eat 5 pancakes.
Okay, I want 10 pancakes per point over.
It's not going to happen because if they lose.
Can you meet me in the middle of 7?
Card, if they lose a game by 20, I'm not eating 100 pancakes.
Okay, that's true. All right. Can you give me 6 just so I feel good?
I'm doing 5. That's the I think 5's generous to be.
Just give me a win, man. You always come on here and do this, and just give me 6.
The win that I'll give you is you getting to choose if you want 1 pancake per win or if you want 5 pancakes per point for your loss. Because we shouldn't even be talking about my loss. I'm not losing.
Okay. So technically right now, Purdue lost to Northwestern by what? 5 points?
4 points. So you would
eat 20.
You would eat 30 because it's 6 points away from 10.
Okay, yeah. I want 1 point for every win.
You want 1 point for every win.
Or 1 pancake for every win.
But let's say if Purdue lost a game by 9, then you would only have to eat 5 pancakes if that was their worst loss of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Purdue's going to win at minimum 25 to 28 games.
Okay, I change it. I want the point differential on the loss. I want that.
So right now, you have to eat 30 pancakes if Purdue doesn't lose a game by 10. But if they lose games by then, okay, that's the bet. Yeah. This will be fun. Either you'll be eating pancakes in March, or I'll be eating pancakes whenever they lose a game. Maybe this Sunday after Purdue Arizona. That's fun. Looking forward to it. Good question from the YouTube. Appreciate it. Let's move to our Discord where we have a lot of comments today. Join the Discord, by the way. We're up to 90 people who have joined, which is fantastic. We really want to get to 100. We just missed the Power Hour stream because we didn't get it in time. I will say this. We'll do the Power Hour stream when we get to 100 whenever we get there. Like there's no time limit on getting to 100. When we cross 100 paid members at one time, we will absolutely do a Power Hour stream from remote locations, Carter from Santa's lap and me from my desk in my basement. To the comments from the Discord, join the Discord. There's a link in every video that we do to join. It's $9.99 a month. Starting with Jack MCM. He says, I agree with the fact that Zach Edey gets fouled a lot because it's the best chance of slowing him down. The annoying part from an Illinois perspective, Kofi got fouled just as much, but didn't get as many calls, even when it made more sense to Kofi due to his terrible free throw percentage. Edey's averaging 11.6 free throws per game. Kofi averaged 7.3. I went back and looked at Kofi's numbers because my initial impression to this comment was like, Illinois never featured Kofi offensively the way that Purdue features Edey, even in the year without Io, where everything was Kofi-centric. But I looked back, Kofi did have more field goal attempts per game than Edey does. So, like, I am a little surprised he didn't get more calls looking back on it, but I think it comes down to Edey just being a fundamentally better post scorer than Kofi Cockburn was.
Yeah, and the initial thought that comes to my mind, and I'll have to go back and actually look at some stats and maybe watch a couple clips to back it up or not. But also, I think that Edey, he wasn't a better necessarily back to the basket post player. I think he is, but I think it was more so Edey getting the ball in the post, make a move to go do a hook shot. I feel like Kofi did a lot more pick and roll stuff with Io. And there's a lot more like drop-off situations kind of like that. I don't think there was necessarily more like sets, cross screen, get the ball to Kofi. There was that, of course, but not as much as with Edie. If I had to find out why.
I also think like there is a correlation to, okay, so Edie's going to the line more, so his field goal attempts are down because he's getting fouled more. Like that doesn't, those shouldn't necessarily both be higher or lower. Like if Zach Edey posts up and gets the ball on the block 20 times a game, and Kofi Coburn posts up on the block and gets the ball 20 times a game, more of Kofi's post-ups will result in shot attempts without fouls, strictly because I don't think Kofi was as good at drawing fouls. Like Kofi would just do a move that didn't get fouled, and Zach Edey is like, you just have to foul him. People do foul him. So
Yeah.
I know that's kind of a cop-out. I don't think Illinois fans will ever accept that answer, but I think at the end of the day, like just watching them play, Zach Edey is a much more dynamic scorer than Kofi Coburn ever was, and that results to him getting into the line more. Also, like, part of this, Zach Edey likes getting to the line. So, like, Zach Edey is perfectly content with getting. Kofi didn't want to get fouled, which led to Kofi, I think, sometimes trying to avoid getting fouled and maybe make shots tougher on himself. Whereas Zach Edey's like, yeah, foul me. I'm going to go 11 for 11 from the line. Like, that's a great way to score. Malik Perry says, would you rather have your teams as 10 seeds or play each other in the Big Ten finals? Michigan beats Illinois. Ohio State / Michigan State beat Purdue and Northwestern. Malik Perry throwing a subtle jab at you that you're an Ohio State fan.
Yeah, that's crazy. But wouldn't expect anything less out of a league. I'd rather win the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah. I'd rather. It's a banner, right? It's a banner. I'll take the banner. I'll take the banner.
Give me the banner.
You don't hang the banner for Big Ten tournament, though, I don't think. I don't think Michigan State does.
I don't think so, but I personally want a banner.
Yeah, I would hang the banner. I would definitely hang the banner. Jesse says, Robbie and Goodman brought this up. If Zona beats Purdue on Saturday, will we all have to admit that there's a head and shoulder powerhouse favored to win the tourney, or would it all depend on the manner of victory? What do you think?
I think manner of victory definitely factors in. When you have two great teams playing each other, sometimes it comes down to one possession of a player making a play that could go completely the other way. I do think that you could say that the team will be like head and shoulders above everybody else. But in my opinion, I think the matter of the win actually affects that narrative.
I will not admit that Arizona is head and shoulders the favorite this season unless Arizona goes 3-0 in the next 3 games. If they beat Purdue, Alabama, and Florida Atlantic back to back, then sure, that's the best team in the country. I don't believe that will happen. In fact, I believe they're going to lose 2 of these 3 games. I believe they are going to go 1-2 in the next 3 games. That's my belief. And again, this isn't hate on Arizona. I like Arizona, but I'm not impressed with the teams they've beaten. Like, yeah, winning at Cameron's impressive. Also, I just saw Hofstra have Duke on the ropes 17 minutes into a game in Cameron last night. Michigan State, 6-point neutral. They let AJ Hoggard claw back and take a late lead. That was impressive. Wisconsin, I'm sorry. We're really doing the whole Wisconsin thing again? We're really doing that. It's now all of a sudden it's a huge resume win if you beat Stephen Crowell and Chucky Hepburn.
Hey, Wisconsin, good team.
If they go 3-0 in this stretch, then absolutely I'm wrong and Arizona's dominant. If they don't, I think it's more they're just a good team that currently is getting praised as if they're the best team.
What if they go 2-1 in this three stretch?
Then they're a top 5 team in the country, but they're not a runaway favorite.
Okay. All right. I mean, that'll be their first loss of the season. It'll be undefeated with 1 loss to Purdue or 1 loss to FAU.
How many teams do you think would be undefeated if they played Duke, Michigan State, and Wisconsin as their 3 tough games? I think there's at least 10 teams in the country who are undefeated with that schedule.
Yeah, I don't think that. No.
Okay. I do. I mean, Purdue's played 4 top 11 teams in the country. They're not number 1 because they lost a game.
Yeah, so Northwestern.
Yeah, I get it. But A lot of movement will happen after these games. Either I'll be right or I'll be wrong. Travis Nelson said, I listened to Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday episodes all in one day today. It was great, although I'll be sad that I can't listen tomorrow. The point of that is I could listen to you guys for 2 hours if it had to be, and not even just about hoops. Very entertaining. Salute emoji. Trav, we appreciate you, my friend. That's all we're trying to do. Make sure everybody has a good day and enjoys this. It means a lot when we hear positive feedback like that. Jesse says, what was/were the first books independent from mandatory school reading that you guys bought and read cover to cover? In 1997, I was 16. I don't remember the order, but it was For You, Hank, the Hank Gather story. And then he has a couple others in here as well. Rebound by Mike Greenberg and the 1997 Sports Almanac. What was your first book, Cart?
The first one that I can remember, like myself, like getting and reading was the Captain Underpants series. I think that's the first book I can remember. I did used to love like almanacs, like sports almanacs and like Guinness Book of World Records. I used to like want to stunt at the Scholastic Book Fair, get like a fire bookmark and get like one of those, show out a little bit, and a nice Tracy McGrady poster. The first book that I can remember being read to me, I think my mom used to read me and my sister's Junie B. Jones books. You remember those?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are the two that come to mind. But like I said, I don't read.
Yeah. I when I was little, I think the only book series I ever like actually read, and I would like go to the store with my parents and come away with books and be all excited about it, was Michigan Chillers. That's a regional thing clearly in the state of Michigan, but Michigan Chillers was like a big series of like quote unquote scary stories for kids built
Yeah.
around cities in Michigan.
Oh, you know what else I used to? It's slipping my mind, but it was like a detective type book. It was a series. God, it's slipping my mind. It's like very popular. Do you know what I'm talking about by any
No,
chance?
I discovered video games and I stopped reading.
Okay, well, I think it's like a kid on a boxcar who's like uh I'm about to look it up. I'll figure it out. But yeah,
No, now I know who you're talking about. Now it's really gonna bug me.
it's
I can
bugging the
picture it.
hell out of me.
I
When
can
once I
picture
hear it,
it.
I'm gonna be so upset.
Yeah, I can picture it. We got to move on, otherwise we'll just sit here thinking about it all
Yes.
day.
Once I figured out that Derrick Rose didn't take his SAT, I was like, why the hell am I doing this? Like he can't read and he's in the league.
Two more comments. Booby says, what are some of your main thoughts on the G League Ignite? Also, if you could put some of the Ignite players on college teams, where would you want them to play? Be semi-realistic, but example, Buzelis, Holland, Dink Pate. Is that how you say Dink Pate? Tyler Smith?
I think it's Dink Pate.
Dink Pate and Tyler Smith.
Hmm. I would actually put Ron Holland on the team he was originally committed to in Texas. I would actually really like to see him there. I like the G League Ignite overall, by the way. Like I'm a fan of it. I just think it gives kids another option to go to. I know some people hate it and players get propped up by certain people, but I personally like the G League Ignite. I do love Buzelis. If I had to put Buzelis on a team, I would put him. I would put him on North Carolina. I'll put
That.
Buzelis on North Carolina. Give me a lineup of Cadeau, RJ Davis, Buzelis, Harrison Ingram, Armando Bacot.
Yeah, they'd be good. Buzelis had two serious considered schools, I believe, that I would absolutely love if he was on. Kentucky and Arizona were both in the mix for him. If you drop Buzelis on Arizona, then that absolutely is the runaway title favorite. If you drop him on Kentucky, that's just my favorite team of all time. General thoughts on the G League Ignite. I don't like it, but that's just me being selfish. I want these players that are this talented to play a year in college basketball because I want to see them there. I would rather have Jacoby Walter in my sport than scoring 11 points per game on the G League Ignite. Like I get that it can work. I get we've seen good players come through the G League Ignite. I think there's a larger conversation to be had about actually what does that do for development, because like who's the best Ignite player ever, either Jalen Green or Scoot Henderson?
Yeah, probably.
Are we super impressed with either of those guys right now?
Scoot's starting to pick it up. I personally think Jalen Green's been good.
Okay. And look, you can make this argument to guys in college too, but I think there's a lot of like, oh, this is going to actually prepare them more for the NBA. And then I think in reality, those guys came in and were less prepared than expected in year one. So
Yeah. Also, it's called the Boxcar Children, isn't it? The book?
I've never heard of that. I don't know.
Okay, it's probably not. Damn. All right, sorry. This is really killing me. We can move on. I'm sorry.
We're going to move on. Trevor has the final comment of the day. He says, why do college basketball coaches seem to get along for the most part, but most college football coaches seem to hate each other?
Because basketball coaches are fake. They're fake. They're just good. They're good at faking. That's all it is.
I think in order to be a football coach, you have to be a different type of person mentally than like I think anybody can just go coach basketball. Maybe I'm
That kind of makes sense. Yeah.
like football is just different. Like you have to love a game that involves like concussing other men and like
Other people being knocked out.
good football. Like those people are just more prone to confrontation to me than most basketball coaches. Keyword most. Although I will say, did you see Juwan Howard and Tom Izzo were getting all friendly yesterday?
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, I mean, just bonding over recruiting a player that isn't going to commit to play for both of them. Maybe, two guys with 5 losses just kicking back, trying to put a little more fight in their teams.
Man, my son's better than yours. My son's not, but he's gonna play center next game. Trevor Kenny. Like that's great. Also, I cracked the code. I cracked it.
What?
It's the Hardy Boys.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
The Boxcar Children.
No, it's just the Hardy Boys. That's the book series.
Got it. Okay. Congratulations. So you read the Hardy Boys?
Yeah.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Nice. Congrats. Okay. All right. Thanks, comment section. Join the Discord, links in the description. Let's get to our topics today. I think we'll be quick on this one because I have a feeling you won't want to talk about this one. Draymond Green hit somebody again. He hit Jusuf Nurkic. It's like I've been saying for weeks, Carter. It's about time somebody steps in and makes sure that this prominent figure in basketball in the state of Michigan just keeps his hands to himself. How many incidents are we going to have to sit back and watch somebody of this platform, of this importance, just go be irresponsible and put others in danger? It's really sad. It's really sad.
I am a Michigan State fan through and through. I love Draymond Green. I'll always love Draymond Green. I'm starting to get sick of Draymond Green shit. Like, come on, man.
Whoa.
Like, why? Just like incidents that happen in the past. Like, I think you can look at everyone in like a different type of light. Like, I honestly, personally had no trouble or issue with him like choking out Rudy Gobert while he was in a fight with another teammate. That's that one I can look the other way on. Last night, you just blatantly turned around in a game you were in, by the way, in a game where your team needs you, and you turned around and you just slapped Jusuf Nurkic. Like, what are you doing, man? And now, based on this, you're probably going to be suspended more games. So at what point are you just like, bro, you're hurting your team? I get who you are. I'm unapologetically Draymond Green. I'll never apologize to anybody. That's all good and well till you're missing games and hurting your team.
Yeah, at some point he became the meme. That's how I feel, right? Like he's always had like a side persona that's been more shtick, I think, than basketball player. And I don't want to say, when I say shtick, like the persona's a shtick. I don't mean to say he's being a fraud. I don't mean to say he's faking the toughness, any of that. Draymond is a tough guy. Draymond is a like, I will fight you guy. That's not a shtick. That's not him playing into anything, pretending he's something he's not. That's who Draymond is. Been that way. He loves confrontation. He's always loved confrontation. He's also been a great leader for pretty much his entire career up until I would say about a year ago when it seems like it became more about Draymond than it became about his team for, in my opinion, the first time in his career. Like, to me, I get he didn't like Jordan Poole, and that's a Michigan State thing that runs deep. And I just, look, you can't come up with two guys who are more different in how they're wired mentally than Jordan Poole and Draymond Green. But I also strongly believe, like, we watched it happen. We watched Jordan Poole be an integral part of a championship team with Draymond. Like, that happened. Like, it happened. So at a certain point, like, for you to do what you did to Poole and get physical with him, I don't care what he said, that ain't leadership for someone that's serious about winning championships. Like, that ain't an end of the bench guy. And I get that Jordan Poole looks horrible now. Jordan Poole's career is essentially ruined by that incident. And Jordan Poole owns some of that, but I mean, Draymond made it clear it's never going to work with me and Jordan Poole again. He wouldn't go to dinner with him after. That's him prioritizing himself and his persona over his team and winning. Now here he is doing this again in the middle of a game for no reason. And if you listen to his post game, it's like he says, "I don't apologize for anything I do, but I do apologize to Nurkic because I didn't intend to hit him." Come on. What was he intending to do? What was he intending to do?
Crazy. That's just crazy. That's like when I intend not to have a sweet treat after dinner, but I always do. Like let's come on now, Draymond. Like we're really doing that. It's like I think you honestly summed it up pretty well. He's making himself. It's now becoming Draymond is bigger than the team, and it's affecting the team. Like wins and losses, him being on the floor wise. He's gonna get suspended for this. Like given the history, given the last suspension he had, like this has the chance to be like an 8-10 game suspension for a Warriors team that needs him because Klay Thompson looks like off-brand Alec Burks now. Like the Klay Thompson hasn't been good. They need Draymond on this team. He does a lot for this team. Steph loves him. Like it's just he's hurting the team at this point. Wiggins isn't playing well. It's just like you said, it's just making himself bigger than the team, and I don't think it has ever been that up until as of recently. Like 1 or 2 times I can speak on. So at a certain point, like isn't somebody in the Warriors organization be like, Draymond, I get it, you're you, we love you for you, but also like, can you change you a little bit? You're also
I mean, there's no changing.
Also, like Draymond's like what 36.
I'm not an ageism podcaster. So
I am at a certain age. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Someday there's going to be a documentary made about Draymond. It's going to be an all-timer because he had great moments in college that were like toughness, leadership-y. Like he out-rebounded Michigan's entire team one time and like, I don't know, just talked his shit while doing it. Obviously, he's a great player with all this winning and he was an integral part of all the Warriors stuff. He also like had the moment where he basically punched LeBron in the finals, got suspended, and ruined that for his team, right? Like, if Draymond doesn't do that, the Warriors have another ring. There's no question. He cost his team a ring doing that. Then he cost his team Kevin Durant. Like, that's well documented. Kevin Durant was like, I'm not playing with this dude no more. Goodbye. So then he cost his team Jordan Poole. And now I think this is the smallest.
Hey, he should have cost him Jordan Poole.
I guess
Jordan Poole is fraudulent.
Again, I think he was a real contributor on a title team.
He was for that one, but I think if you that's a subject we can have for another day. There's a lot of NBA championships and a lot of NBA trajectories that are changed by one player's like one season or one playoff run.
Yeah.
I mean, because Wiggins had an outer body experience last year or the 2 years ago when they won the championship, that really helped them win a championship. Like Wiggins was one of the best two-way players in the league. Now he looks awful.
I think a lot of it's like personnel and system, but like it also happened. Like you have to objectively say like Jordan Poole was scoring 20 a game in the finals. Like that happened. I watched it. So like even if it's not happening now, even if Jordan Poole is clearly never going to be a first option on a winning team, it happened in a spot where he really impacted winning for Golden State for one finals. Like that happened. And that could have happened more if the incident didn't happen between the two of them. Like it worked in that system. If we know it doesn't work anywhere else, it worked in that system. And Golden State ended up needing more firepower to win last year.
I think a lot of people wanted to punch Jordan Poole. I think Draymond's just the one that did it.
I think a lot of people would love to punch Draymond. They just know they'd get punched back if they do, harder and worse. Like, this doesn't have to be a Michigan State thing because, like I said, two very different people. There's a lot of negative sides to Jordan Poole. There's a lot of negative sides to Draymond right now. And as far as incidents go, it's Draymond versus Juwan Howard for who can have more before they go away into the wilderness.
Who do you think will have more?
I would say they both have 4 right now. I'm probably missing some from Draymond, but I would call the LeBron thing an incident. I would call the Jordan Poole thing an incident. I would call this an incident.
What about, the Sabonis?
Sabonis is an incident, so that's 4.
Yeah.
And yeah, Juwan's got the Turgeon scrap, the guard scrap, the technical when he wasn't coaching, and now Sanderson. So 4-4. I think I think Draymond's going to stay in the league longer than Juwan's going to stay at Michigan, so I'll go Draymond.
Okay. I think I'm going to make a bet this is Draymond's last incident this season.
Why? Because he's suspended and never returns.
No, I just think like this one is going to hit different. Like second suspension of the season, it has to. If it doesn't, then we got to have a real conversation about what the hell is going on with Buddy.
I think Draymond Green should be Tom Izzo's successor at Michigan State, and I think he will have as many Juwan Howard-like incidents as Juwan did. If he
That'd be classic.
Would be classic. Be kind of fun. All right, let's stop talking about Draymond. I want to do Andy Katz's Big Ten first team real quick. Andy Katz put out Andy Katz put out a video of his 4 locks to make the All Big Ten first team this season. Then he had 3 players in contention for the 5th spot. The 4 locks were Zach Edey, Terrence Shannon, Boo Buie. Bruce Thornton at Ohio State is a lock to be All Big Ten first team. Then he had 3 players contending for the 5th spot. He had Tyson Walker. He had Braden Smith. He had Tony Perkins from Iowa as the only 3 players in contention for the 5th All Big Ten first team spot. What do you make of Andy Katz's latest group? It's not a list. It's a group.
Yeah. Well, first of all, shout out to our good friend Andy Katz for doing the Lord's work. This is the stuff we need. We need more lists, and it's been too long since he's gave us a list. So I appreciate him putting this out. The lock word, I think, is not taken seriously enough throughout just the country in a whole, even outside of basketball, whether it be in betting, whether it be in life. People love to throw the L word out way too much. Right now, there are 2 locks to me for first team All Big Ten. I'll go with 2 that I think are going to be there. And I think that's only Edey and Terrence Shannon Jr. I think those last 3 spots are currently still up for grabs, and they're not locks. Tony Perkins won't even make an all honorable mention list right now. So he shouldn't be mentioned on the first 2 Big Ten teams. No mention of Braden Smith, who, if we're going to pick a point guard,
Braden Smith's mentioned. He's mentioned. Huh? He's one of the 3.
But he wasn't. But if Bruce Thornton is a lock, then Braden Smith just being mentioned doesn't do it for me.
Okay. That's fair. Boo Buie's not a lock to you?
Right now, he's not a lock, no.
How's Boo Buie not a lock?
Because Northwestern as a team scares me.
I mean, they're clearly already a little bit ahead of all the middle of the pack. Like, they beat Purdue because of Boo.
That's what we can't. But that's just what they do. They roll out of bed and they beat Purdue and Evanston.
But I don't think they're going to lose all these Big Ten games we think they could potentially lose. The Big Ten's horrible.
So you would have. So you, how many locks would you have on the first team right now?
3. Boo's a lock. Boo's crazy. Come on. It's like, come on. Boo's numbers are crazy. Northwestern's better than we thought they were going to be after losing Audige. There's no, I get like we've done this whole dance for now 2.5 full seasons of like, who was the better point guard? I could go dig up receipts where I had an entire month of Michigan State fans on my ass for saying Boo Buie's a better player than AJ Hoggard. Look where we are now. Boo Buie is literally one of the best point guards in the country. He's the only reason Northwestern has a pulse. He's the only reason they beat Purdue. He's a lock. His numbers are stupid.
When you go stat for stat, Bruce Thornton's numbers are damn similar / maybe even better than Boo.
What are Bruce Thornton's numbers?
Okay, so I got Boo Buie's right now. Boo Buie is averaging 18 a game, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 46 from the field, 36 from 3. Okay. When you go Bruce Thornton.
Great numbers, by the way.
No, those are great. Oh, they're definitely great numbers. Bruce Thornton is averaging 19 a game. He's averaging 19 a game, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, shooting 47% from the field and 42% from 3.
No, who we haven't mentioned?
Who?
Let me give you this guy's numbers. Tell me what you think of this guy's numbers in comparison to Boo Buie and Bruce Thornton. 19 points a game, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 46% from the floor, 37% from 3 on 6 attempts. That's Doug McDaniel. Doug McDaniel is literally playing at the same level as Boo Buie and Bruce Thornton. So I'm not putting Doug ahead of those two because Michigan's bad. They're the worst team out of those three teams. But like, if we're gonna do the dance where Bruce Thornton's a lock, like there are other guards in this conference doing this right now.
Okay, so since we're doing this, give me your first team all Big Ten right now.
The only locks are Boo, Shannon, Edey.
I hear the locks. I want your first team.
Am I doing what I think it'll
as of December, whatever date it is, December 13th.
So I'm not doing what I think it'll be at the end of the season. I'm doing based on what I've seen through this point in the season.
Yep.
And I can do any position, right? I can put 3 point guards on this team if I want.
You can do whatever you want.
The 5 best players in the Big Ten this season have been Zach Edey, Terrence Shannon, Boo Buie, Braden Smith, and Doug McDaniel in that order. Those have been the 5 best players. Doug has been better on a team that has less than Bruce Thornton has been and Tyson Walker has been.
Okay. I like that. I'm not mad at that. I think like I said, can't argue. Give me Edey, Shannon, 2. Pencil them in. If you want to get the award out early for the first team plaque, go ahead and just get that out the way. I don't know if you can save costs with a Christmas Day sale for plaques and gold. Go ahead and put that on there. And then I think I'd go Boo. I go Braden. And I think right now I go Bruce over Doug slightly.
Here's the hard part for me with Bruce. I think Bruce, I'm doing the voter thing where like he has Roddy Gale, and that affects me a little bit with Bruce. Like Roddy Gale's really, really good and arguably some games better than Bruce.
But you put Braden in there when he has Edey. Right,
but I think like Braden is the guard doing it. Braden's a triple-double threat. He's one of one. Like Bruce is going out and getting us 19 a game. That's sick. That's awesome. Roddy Gale's had games where he's had 18, 7, and 5 on this team. Like and that's why together they're one of the best backcourts in the country. But like there's an element of this that like when Boo goes out and has a masterpiece, it's because Boo is unstoppable solo. Braden, yes, he has Zach Edey, but he's one of one. He's the only guy who will go get you 10 rebounds and 10 assists in a game. Doug McDaniel's essentially doing it by himself. I know Com was out there, but like Doug's the only guy with the ball in his hands every possession for Michigan. He runs everything. Tyson Walker, same thing. Like right now, he has to do everything for Michigan State. Like that, to me, that matters and is more impressive. I would have Tyson ahead of Bruce Thornton too, because Bruce doesn't need to be the guy every night. His scoring is impressive, but until they start winning more, I'm kind of on that.
Yeah, true. I think it's going to change, obviously, because it's based on Big Ten play too. Like, if you want to do that, I mean, I don't know. I've never seen like the voting criteria, but do they just look at Big Ten play?
I don't know.
Because if they do, like, then you can't put Doug in there right now because he's had 2 kind of stinkers in the Big Ten.
Yeah, that's
for his standard.
If the question you would ask me was not as of now and it was at the end of the year, Doug's not in mine. I would still have the same 4. I would have Braden Smith. I would put Tyson Walker at 5 if we were doing
I think that's what I would do if I was predicting end of the season too.
I do think it's crazy because that's what Katz was doing, was projecting to the end of the season. I think it's crazy that he had Tyson Walker in honorable mention instead of in that.
I think it's crazy. I'm more about, I can't believe Tony Perkins was in there.
Yeah, it's insane. Is there any long shots you would have put in? Like, if he's going to put Perkins in, is there anybody else you would have thrown? I would have thought Khalil Ware gets a mention.
Yeah, I think Khalil Ware definitely is one that should get a mention. Outside of that, I mean, even we're looking at Ohio State, like Roddy Gale, I think if we go to the end of the season, will be a guy that maybe even gets in before Bruce Thornton.
I think Jameer Young deserves a mention. I know they've been horrible, but
he's been kind of bad too, though.
17, 4, and 3.
What are his percentages like really bad though?
39, 31, 92% free throw.
Okay, that's not bad. I thought it was worse than that. He definitely deserves a shot then.
Yeah, he's up there. People just aren't giving him credit because Maryland's been horrible, which is fair. But yeah, I don't know. Last thing for me, never put Cliff Omoruyi on a preseason team ever again. This is 3 consecutive years we've had him as like preseason first team All Big Ten, and he just.
Can I take an early victory lap on that?
You can. You can do it.
Okay. I tried to tell y'all. I mean, I did say it was going to be Coleman. That doesn't look as good right now, but I was just saying, like, we're talking about another big making the list. It ain't Cliff.
Okay, this is a speed round. Final topic today. I have 10 things. I have 9 teams and 1 player based on their odds to win National Player of the Year and their AP poll ranking. I want you to tell me if this team is overrated or underrated to what you think they really are. Not based on what you think they deserve, but what you think they really are in their core as a player, as a team. Overrated, underrated, give me about a sentence to describe it. We'll speed round this. Number 1, the Baylor Bears. They are the number 6 team in the country. Are they overrated or underrated?
They are underrated. Baylor's a Final Four level team.
You think they're one of the 5 best in the country?
I do.
Okay, I'm flip on this. I think they're overrated. I think they're 10 to 15. I don't think they play enough defense. I think they're the best offense in the country. They don't play enough defense. North Carolina, overrated or underrated? Number 9 in the country in the AP poll right now.
I think North Carolina's underrated. I still like the makeup of that team.
At the end, I'm going to need your list because I think you're going to have everybody underrated. I have North Carolina overrated. I think they are also a 10 to 20 team in the country, right around where Baylor is, maybe a little bit lower. I think they've outperformed what they really are to this point in the season. Tennessee, number 12 in the AP poll, overrated or underrated?
Can you do properly rated?
Nope. You have to pick overrated or underrated.
Well, I think Tennessee's a top 10 team. So at 12, they're underrated. I think they're a top 10 team.
Okay, I also think Tennessee is underrated. This is the first one that I have. I think they are a top 6 to 7 team in the country. I think they're really,
I might
really
have
good.
messed up. I might have messed up on North Carolina. But
No, I'm
we can
pretty
keep.
excited. We're going to have you do your list in a minute because next up is Kentucky, number 14. Are they overrated or underrated?
They're overrated right now. I think they're like 18 to 20 range.
Shocked by that.
Me too.
Kentucky's definitely underrated for me. I have them as a clear top 10 team in the country of who they really are by the end of the season, especially with Bradshaw coming along. I think they're great. Florida Atlantic, number 15. Overrated or underrated?
I think they're underrated.
Do you think they're a top 10 team?
Yeah, I would put them like right at 10.
So just to do a little mental math then, you
Yeah,
have
yeah. Mm-hmm.
you have
Mm-hmm.
Baylor, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Florida Atlantic all as top 10 teams.
Yeah, I think if hindsight 2020, I'd probably take North Carolina out of my top
No.
10.
Baylor, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Florida Atlantic are all top 10 teams in Carter Elliott's world. You haven't mentioned Arizona, Purdue, and UConn, who I assume you think are top 10 teams.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't mentioned Marquette, who I assume you think is a top 10 team. You haven't mentioned Creighton, who I assume you think is a top 10 team. You haven't mentioned Kansas, who I assume you think is a top 10 team. You haven't mentioned Houston. That's 11 teams. Which one of those 10 is not in your 10?
Houston's not a top 10 team.
Oh, okay. Standing by it. All right. I'll go underrated for Florida Atlantic at 15. I think they're not a top 10 team, though. I think it's like 11 through 14, just slightly underrated. Illinois at number 16 in the country, overrated or underrated?
They're underrated. They're a top 12 team in the country. They're 12.
Underrated just barely. Like they might be 15th instead of 16th. I think they will end the season top 15 in KenPom, though. That's my belief. Duke at 21, overrated or underrated?
Slightly underrated. I think they are a top 25 team. They're probably properly rated at 22, 21, whatever they're at.
I think they're overrated. I don't think this Duke team is a top 25 team in the country.
Wow.
Until they start winning some games on the road, man. I think this team's just going to lose every game they play on the road.
Good point.
Yeah. Wisconsin at 23.
Overrated.
Overrated.
Yeah.
Like really overrated?
Yeah, like let's stop the charade. Okay.
Yeah, I agree. They're really overrated. Northwestern at 25. Overrated or underrated?
I think they're overrated, unfortunately. I don't think it's a top 25 team. I don't. Boo's amazing. I think they're a tournament team. They're not a top 25 team.
I had no idea they were in the top 25.
Either did I. Are you sure they are?
Yeah. Yes.
Huh.
Unless I'm like really just looking at the wrong thing. They're 41st on KenPom at 7-1, just one spot ahead of Michigan. but they are 25th in the AP poll after that Purdue win.
I had no clue they were.
It hurts my heart to say it, but I'll go overrated. I don't think this team will finish the season in the top 25, but I do think this team will finish the season in the NCAA tournament with a lot to play for with Boo. And the final one here, the only player on the list, overrated or underrated. Zach Edey is currently minus 160 odds to win National Player of the Year. He was plus money up until about week and a half ago. Now he's all the way to minus 160 as a favorite. Is that overrated or is that underrated?
That's underrated. Those odds should be like minus 300.
I think they should be minus 1,000. Injury is the only way this guy doesn't win National Player of the Year. Somehow he's underrated. I've been screaming it since he was plus 200 odds, by the way. I hope somebody jumped all over that. By the way, Hunter Dickinson's the only guy that's even like not a long shot at this point. It's Edey, it's Hunter, and nothing else.
Yeah, it should be like minus 500 minimum.
Yeah, there's not a world where Hunter Dickinson wins National Player of the Year over Edey if those are the only two in consideration. All right, fun little game of overrated, underrated. Let's end the show with one big thing presented by Big B. What do you got?
My one big thing to everyone out there who has a significant other is that when you're giving a time that you're going to be somewhere, be done with something, or in any situation like that, give yourself a 10 to 15 minute buffer at all times.
Where's this coming from? Why?
Like last night when we went down to record our recaps, I was like, I'm going to be down there to do 2 recaps. It should be like 30 something minutes. I was like, you know what? Nah, we should be down there 45 something minutes. We get done in 35. I'm upstairs with 10 minutes to spare. I'm him. It's good to see you. 15-minute buffer is needed.
Yeah, you look like a hero when that's
where
you come from. Yeah, I like that. That's a veteran move by you.
Can I add a quick one too?
Of course.
I need feedback if the TV background is working. Because I was told that no one wanted to look at stairs the whole episode. So like this TV thing is going to be something I need to know. Setup definitely takes a lot longer than sitting on the side I was on and just having the easel in the background. But let me know if the TV background is something that needs to stay.
My one big thing presented by Big B is that the TV background needs to stay. It's great. Now I think it could be improved. Like I think we're seeing like prototype 1 out of this, and we need to get to like iPhone 11 here rather quickly. But I like there's flexibility here, right? You can bring up different things. It was kind of fun that you brought up Jacoby Walter highlights in the middle of a preview today. That was fun. I don't like that you can see the ring light behind you. We've got to get that angle fixed so that it doesn't look like that. I also don't like that your head is above the TV. We got to figure that out a little bit. I'll work on it. But in general, I think this is really, there's potential here. There's potential in a way I haven't seen from the Elliott household in a while.
Yeah, we're going to figure this out, though. I'm going to talk to management.
Also, YouTube might not let us monetize videos where we're playing other YouTube videos. So we'll see how that goes today. All right, that's the show. Thanks for being here. We'll be back on Friday's episode. Hopefully, Riley Davis back in the building for Riley Friday. Maybe not. You never know. We'll be back tomorrow.